viewers, this is Dr. Chitra Aravind. Welcome back to my channel, Manas, a Pursuit of Happiness. And apparently I've noticed that only 53% of the viewers have subscribed to my channel. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So today I've come with a very interesting topic, that is emotions. So this particular topic will give you a lot of awareness about our own personality, because emotional quotient, that is the order of the day today. More than IQ, people are talking about EQ, that is the emotional quotient, and it mainly talks about the awareness about our feelings. So if I ask this question to you, like what is the most dominant emotion you feel right from the morning till the time you go to bed? I could even challenge that most people cannot come up with more labels, like sadness, happiness, anger. So these are the prominent emotions we could say. But I would tell that in psychology and also in generally in whenever the vocabulary is considered, there are a lot of other emotions we actually do feel, but then we don't know how to identify our own emotions. It can be attributed to our culture as well, because as an Indians, generally when compared to Western countries, Indians in this particular culture, we are not actually encouraged to express our emotions even in the childhood. Right from the childhood is a very important period where the child will come to know about the feelings and what is the name of the feeling and how to express it, how to cope up with these difficult feelings. But then as a parents, when you say don't cry or don't show that kind of joy, so whenever it is told not to communicate such emotions, children do learn that emotions are something which has to be hidden and shouldn't be expressed. So generally in India, I would say it is a more repressed society where we don't express our emotion in a way. Even you could relate to this lot of movies also. When you see a lot of Hollywood movies, we could see a lot of terms they use. For example, I feel like a pebble in the beach, or I feel like treated like a doormat. They come up with a nice expression. Even in our regional language also, a lot of nice words are there to describe our emotions. But then unfortunately, we are not actually trained or encouraged to express our emotions. That is the most unfortunate thing which is happening in our culture. Why it is unfortunate? Because when you don't express your emotions, or when you suppress it, or when you don't communicate it, it has got a lot of consequences on your health, mental health especially. So here I'm going to discuss about a lot of aspects of emotions which are going to be very interesting. The first thing is, are you all aware that we have some 6 universal emotions that every person who is born in this entire world have these emotions as soon as they are born as an infant? That is, one thing is about sadness, surprise, disgust, happiness, fear and contempt. So these are the 6 universal emotions every child would experience it. They show it in a more non-verbal way. So that means we all have this emotion. That is why we are different from the robo kind of things. We do express it. So why do we have this? We should have some reason why we have this so-called emotion. Some people say that emotion makes my life more difficult. Actually speaking, emotion makes our life more comfortable and more meaningful to live with. For example, let's take the emotion called love, kindness, care and all this. So whenever we have this feeling and we express to our friends and loved ones, that is what makes our life more meaningful and enriching, isn't it? Instead of just feeling more just like a robo and talking more logically and analytically, feelings and the emotions make us more human as well. But then are we actually pleasant about all this emotion, feeling more good about this emotion? The answer would always be no, because most of the time we are actually feeling unpleasant about some of the emotions, like so-called negative emotions we say. For example, sadness, anger, jealous, guilt and so on. So we are not so comfortable with these emotions. So we don't know how to cope up with these emotions also. So here I would like to say that these are the emotions which are coming for some purpose. They serve some functions. Imagine in our evolutionary days how we used to communicate. When those days language was not there, so we used to communicate through the emotions. So emotions are prominently used as tools to communicate our feelings to other people, so that we could bring about some the changes, behavioral changes in other people, their response towards us. So, but then what are the other functions of emotions? Emotions also tells or signals what is happening around you. When you suddenly feel sad or when you suddenly feel angry, we know like something is not actually right in this scenario. also it is a great motivator, I would say. It motivates us to behave in a particular way. Let's take an emotion called anger. So when we feel so angry, so what do we generally do? We actually shut down, or sometimes we actually show that anger also by slamming the door. So these are the ways. So immediately we get motivated to behave in a particular way. And these are the major functions why we even have emotions. So it is having this kind of strong functionalities. But then we also have to understand one more thing. What happens to us when we don't express our emotions? They say that it's okay, I don't have emotions, I don't have a lot of emotions from morning to evening, I'm quite fine, I have only one or two emotions. But then the problem is, you are actually thinking that you don't have emotions, but then you are also experiencing the similar emotions, but then you're not actually validating it. It may be because of the bad childhood we had, or the culture we are brought up. As I told earlier, we generally, what people say is, when you feel so much joy, they say something bad is going to happen. When we say that I'm so happy, don't feel happy, because maybe some negative thing is, evil is waiting for you. Or when they say I'm so sad, cheer up. So always the opposites are taught to us. So we are not actually so comfortable or encouraged to show the emotions, showcase the emotions, or communicate the way you feel. Why again and again I insist that we need to communicate is because when feelings are not expressed over a period of time, it gets suppressed, and one day it, like a pressure cooker effect, it bursts out. So that is the reason some people feel like crying without any reason. They say nothing's wrong with my life, but suddenly they feel like crying. Suddenly they burst out in anger to their friends, and they don't know the reason also. That is because of suppressing the emotions for a long period of time. And one more very deleterious effect it has on is on your relationship. Let's take for example an husband and wife relationship, and the wife is actually angry with her husband and upset with him for some so and so reasons, but she chooses not to express it. Over a period of time, what happens is this can build up and can lead to a lot of relationship issues and conflicts, which may become unbearable at a point. And one more thing also it can happen, like for example, let's take a work scenario. Your boss said something to you, or a colleague said something very unpleasant to you, and you choose not to respond to it and you keep it to yourself. But then what happens the next day? The colleague would have forgotten the comment which was like hurting you particularly. But what happens to you inside is, from then on, you're going to look at the perspective. From what perspective you're going to look at the colleague is from the same perspective what he said yesterday to you. Since you have not expressed assertively how you felt about it, you could have just told, I don't feel comfortable about this comment. But then you actually chose to suppress it. You didn't want to express it. So what happened is, from the next day onwards, whatever he could say, even the friendly intentions, will be only perceived as a hostile cue. So what happens is, generally you will have a lot of blind spots developed, and you will also develop a very complicated relationship with the same person, to the extent of even severing the relationship with him or her. So these are some of the problems, and how it can affect even apart from your relationship. Your health is again more threatening, actually I should say. Let's take for example sadness. When you don't express sadness over a period of time, it can even lead to a lot other mental health issues like depression. And let's talk about another example about feeling more angry or fear. All this emotion, when suppressed, it can lead to a lot of physical complaints later. It can even, they say, the researchers have told that many times it can even lead to a very deleterious disorder like cancer also. Cancer, arthritis, irritable bowel syndrome. So these are some of the disorders, and there are many to name actually. So a lot of physical and mental health problems can occur when you suppress your emotions. We'll see how it is actually happening. For example, all the emotion has its own physiology. Emotions have two parts. That is, one is the physiological expression and other is the body language. Let's take the physiological part. How many of you know that emotions can be felt in the body? That is a soma. So many people think that emotions mean like crying and frowning or smiling. These are the way emotions gets expressed, especially in the behavior part, that is the body language. But it is even many people won't know that emotions are also expressed through something called as physiological way, that is, it can be felt in the body also. So in what way? So number one is the palpitation. So many of you could have experienced your palpitations or heartbeat rising in face of any threat or danger or even angry situations. So this is one of the major signs of emotions. And the other one is the butterflies in the stomach. For any emotion, physiological symptoms are just the same, even as a positive as well as a negative emotion. So butterflies in the stomach and chillness and trembling, sweating. These are some of the somatic symptoms whenever you feel emotions. So this itself shows that when the emotions are even in the physiological level, just imagine you're suppressing it. So this gets settled at some parts of the body. So it leads to a lot of complications in the functions of that particular part of the body. So we need to understand one point from this talk, that is, emotions are something which has to be expressed. And so we'll continue discussing about other important aspects of these emotions again on part 2 of emotions. Till then, see you. Bye.